Points on debut. Thank you.
Great job.
Great job, Nyck. Fantastic. You're so much deserving.
Thank you, Jost. Thank you. Much appreciated. My shoulders are dead.
This is Nyck de Vries, and after last weekend, he's an F1 point scorer. The last couple of days have shaken things up heavily in F1's silly season and Nyck's future. At first, he seemed a possible driver for Williams next year. Right now, he seems the go-to guy for next year, but his performance hasn't gone unnoticed, and Alpine suddenly sees Nyck as a possible driver option too. Where do you think Nyck will end up next year? Let us know in the comments below. Williams wants to recruit Nyck de Vries for the 2023 Formula 1 season, but Alpine aims to test de Vries in the coming weeks. De Vries had a last-minute call-up to Williams for the Italian Grand Prix, replacing Alex Albon, who was sidelined with appendicitis. De Vries only stepped in for Williams for the last practice session on Saturday, after driving for the Aston Martin team in Friday practice, meeting one of that team's rookie requirements for FP1s this season. But he swiftly adjusted and outqualified full-time Williams driver Nicholas Latifi on his way to Q2. Penalties for other drivers propelled de Vries to 8th place on the grid, and he drove an outstanding race to finish 9th and win points on his debut. That immediately puts him ahead of Latifi, the only full-time 2022 driver without a point in the drivers' standings, and there is no longer any competitive reason for Williams not to hire de Vries full-time for 2023. After the race, Williams CEO Jost Capito made little secret of his interest in de Vries, but he seemed to refer to de Vries having to pick between F1 and the Maserati Formula E and Toyota World Endurance Championships, for which he has been lined up. "I've known Nyck now for a while and we're friends," Capito told Viaplay. Of course, he's always on the list, but he's got other commitments as well. It's very much up to him. He showed what he can do in Formula 1. He didn't surprise me. I had high expectations, very high, and he exceeded those. But he has to see what his future is, and we go on from there. De Vries also drove for Williams in FP1 at the Spanish Grand Prix earlier this year, and it was widely assumed that he was already competing for a race slot in 2023. However, Williams may face competition for his signature. Alpine also require a driver for 2023 due to the departure of Fernando Alonso to the Aston Martin squad and the departure of Oscar Piastri to McLaren. Pierre Gasly has emerged as a preferred candidate, but his signing is contingent on Red Bull releasing him from his 2023 AlphaTauri contract, which will only happen if a competent replacement is found. Red Bull is interested in IndyCar race winner Colton Herta, but the FIA is unlikely to make an exception due to the long process involved in obtaining a super license for him. Alpine is believed to be examining options as Gasly is not a guaranteed choice. To aid in the evaluation process, a 2021 car test is rumoured to be scheduled at the Hungaroring between the Italian GP and the Singapore round at the end of September. Both de Vries and Herta are rumoured to be participating in that test, while Herta's involvement is thought to be driven by Red Bull, as he's not on Alpine's list of alternatives. Red Bull's desire to give Herta the opportunity to drive and potentially be evaluated at the same time in advance of AlphaTauri's Friday practice outings before the end of the 2022 season makes sense, if only to support Herta's super license bid. Given that he's still on Alpine's shortlist, it makes sense for Alpine Academy driver and Formula 2 race winner Jack Doohan to participate in the Budapest test. Doohan tested a 2021 F1 vehicle for the first time earlier this year. If the plan to sign Gasly is unsuccessful, de Vries and Doohan are seen to be the top candidates for the Alpine drive, along with Nico Hülkenberg. Alpine won't address the rumours because its testing schedule is confidential. However, Alpine CEO Laurent Rossi stated over the weekend that track evaluations may be a part of the selection process for Alonso's replacement, which will be overseen by team principal Otmar Safnauer. Otmar is leading the process, seeing all of the drivers, discussing with them, assessing options, assessing them here, potentially assessing them in tests, said Rossi. "I guess it's going to be a process that's going to last a little bit, because we want to make the right decision and there's no hurry. In fact, the idea is to make sure that we have continuity in the plan, and whichever driver who comes in next year will be able to carry on helping us make progress." De Vries' choice is made more difficult by his potential to enter Alpine's competition through force. Whether postponing would eliminate De Vries' chance to join Williams is unknown. However, he could have to decide between taking an almost certain drive at Williams and holding out to see if Alpine turns its interest into a formal offer. Williams benefited from De Vries' unexpected start, but in the long run, Williams might not have him. Even while Daniel Ricciardo is technically also available, only Williams Jr. and Formula 2 race winner Logan Sargent has been seriously linked in addition to De Vries. But if Alpine does make a move for De Vries instead, one possibility that shouldn't be overlooked is Williams securing Doohan. The two teams evidently have an excellent working connection because Alpine and Williams had agreed a 2-year loan deal for Piastri before his management organised a switch to McLaren. It would be in line with Alpine's preference to give Doohan a less stressful start in Formula 1 than the Works team. Williams' willingness to choose another F2 rookie above its own is in doubt, especially given that Sargent currently outperforms Doohan in the competition. The remaining gaps on the 2023 grid will need to be filled in a variety of ways, and there are many moving pieces. For both teams, multiple drivers are involved in the race, and Herta's continued participation and the length of time it might obscure Gasly's availability are obviously very significant complicating factors. Whatever happens, it should make for an entertaining conclusion to a memorable F1 silly season. But for now, it's looking like Nyck de Vries, former Formula 2 and Formula E champion, will finally get his desired F1 seat. But the question remains, where will he get this seat? Will it be at Williams or will it be at Alpine? Only time will tell us. But Nyck himself felt that he's done everything he can to secure his seat. The Mercedes reserve was asked if he thought the Italian Grand Prix served as something of an audition for him to land a full-time position in 2023. I mean, anytime you're in the car, you're expected to do a good job. And anytime you get a chance to drive a Formula 1 car, it's a kind of job interview and an audition. You've got to take those opportunities, but you've also got to use them sensibly because there's always a trade-off of doing too much and too little. But I'm just grateful that it worked out well and played into our hands. We took some points and it was a great performance, and no one can take that away from us. Lewis Hamilton stated De Vries deserved a spot in Formula 1 on Saturday at Monza. When asked if he agreed with the remarks made by the 7-time world champion, he added, "You know, I feel like I wouldn't be standing on this grid if I didn't deserve it. And I think this weekend has been a good performance. But we're always expected to do a good job, and it's not up to me to decide any driver lineup. This world is very volatile, but it's not only merit counts. So it's out of my control. But this no one can take away from me. So regardless of the future, whether I'm here or not, I can look back on a proud debut and first moment in Formula 1. I enjoyed it." And what a weekend it was for 27-year-old Nyck de Vries, who on Friday was decked out in green as Aston Martin's FP1 driver, before being called up to a full race drive with Williams on Saturday and Sunday to fill in for Alex Albon, who was out with appendicitis. And what a job De Vries did, contributing to Williams' 4th score of the year with a brilliant drive to P9 that won him the title of Driver of the Day. The weekend was ideal for a driver hoping to maneuver himself into a full-time F1 position for 2023. As said before, it's looking more and more likely that we will be seeing more of De Vries next year. Would this be something you would like to see? And where do you want to see him end up? Would you like to see Nyck at Williams together with Albon, occasionally fighting for points? Or do you think Nyck would be a great fit at Alpine and drive to become the best of the rest? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.